Okay, so again, refresh. Today we're doing 1.1.3. It's called concept sketching. So if you guys get in, get on My Project Lead the Way, get logged in, go to courses, go to the Intro to Engineering Design, and then it's Unit 1, Lesson 1, Activity 3, and it's called concept sketching.
So it's going to be PLC engineering?
Yes. If you're in two different Project Lead the Way classes, you might have like a PLTW Engineering, PLTW Life Sciences. If that's the case,
Biomedical science.
Yeah.
I don't use this for any other class.
Have you taken one in the past or something?
I took PLTW and like 8 or 7 years.
It might be that. It also might be messed up in the system. But obviously, we're not a biomedical sciences, so you'll just have to click that engineering one. And then it should give you the courses.
Yeah, and it's general student or
Yep.
introduction to engineering.
Intro to Engineering. The general resources, that's just a huge page of resources. It's a bunch of extra info. Sometimes you'll be doing something and it'll have links to go to that resources page. But yeah, you're in that engineering. Then you'll have that toolbar on the far left that organizes everything. If you don't see it, there's a little icon in the top left that'll pull it out. And then again, Unit 1, Lesson 1, Activity 3. So that's all we're doing today. Again, be sure to read through the instructions. I'm going to give you the crash course, but it's all right there. So if you actually look at activity.
It don't say 1.1.3. It says 1.
No, you definitely should.
Teachers, we are now ready for juniors with a last name D and E. Juniors' last name D and E.
All right, just for a second, I'm going to turn this second one off. All right, so again, if you see this big word, orthographic, all that means is basically like 90-degree views. You would look at the front of an object, and whatever you see is what you draw, and that's it. Only what you can see from the front. Then you might take that object and turn it to the right side, and you have another view that looks literally just at one side, and you draw what that is. And you can put multiple views on the same drawing, but they're like head-on views, they're 90-degree views. I'm going to give you some paper. Also, it's here. If you're a virtual student at home, you can print this page out, and it's just grid paper. Orthographic means 90-degree, from one direction straight on, but you can have different views. We'll get to isometric sketching. I think it starts the next main lesson. That's where you're going to draw like a 3D and angled view on 2D, but it's like a 3D drawing, and we'll get into that. But just so you know what that word means. We don't have our engineering notebooks yet. They're supposed to be coming. Once we get those, like anything we do is going to be in the engineering notebook. So like that launcher activity, that would have been done in your notebook, and then you would turn that in. I would grade it and give those back. Everything would be in that notebook, but we don't have them, so we're just going to have a separate sheet. You don't need to go through these. They're really useful, especially if you're thinking about being an engineer. I encourage you to read those, but you don't have to. Again, this class will be kind of weird. A lot of times they'll have videos. When we have videos, those are the few times when you can have earbuds. If you need to throw those in, watch that video, please take them out so then you can get back to work on the rest of it. But you can have that. So you're going to just go through. You can look through this. You don't need to. It won't apply right now. There's a sketching tips guide to look at that. And then what you're going to do to start is you're going to pick 2 objects from this list and draw a front view or a single view sketch of it. So if you got like a scissors, Your view could be, I lay it on the table and I look straight down. That's the view that I'm going to draw. And whatever I would see, that's all I'm going to draw. I'm going to draw that, and then I'm going to pick another one and draw the same thing, coffee cup. If I set it on the table and look at it, what do I see? Draw that. You're going to do one of each, or two of this whole list. So you're going to have 2 drawings. After you draw those, you're going to give these to a partner. You're going to give your sheet to a peer, and they're going to give you feedback. Now, it's got instructions on how do I get feedback. If you're a virtual student, you could ask like a sibling or a parent. They can look at, even right here, they can look at, how do I give good feedback? Or it can be as simple as like your shading. You could add shading to make it more realistic. Your proportions aren't quite realistic. Adjust your proportions. You forgot a logo, whatever it is.
We are ready for juniors with last name F and G. Juniors F and G.
So you'll draw those 2. You'll give your sheet to a peer. They will physically write feedback right by your pictures. And then what you're going to do is get that back and be like, oh yeah, I need to work on my shading. Then you draw the exact same images again, but updated and better because you're getting feedback on them. So now you have 4 total images. Feedback, and then at the very end, what you're going to do is pick 2 of this list, and now that you're a quote-unquote pro, you've had some experience, these are a little more complicated, so you pick 2 of them and draw 1 of each. So in total, you're going to have 6 sketches. Try to split your paper up. I'll show you to keep it on one side so you can use that orthographic. And then at the very end, there's 3 conclusion questions that I want you to answer. Just flip those over. They're pretty simple. Just write those 3 on the back. All right? Up top, I'm going to have you guys skip. Where was it? Yeah. So that's it. Does that make sense? I'm going to get this off. But I gave a layout of how your paper should look. So just because I can only give you guys 1 sheet, otherwise I'd be printing hundreds of pieces of paper. So on your 1 sheet, put your 2 drawings here. Give it to a peer and have them write feedback on your paper. Have it be kind of small and for each one. And then below that, redraw the updated sketches. And then on the other half, put your more complicated ones here and here. That way you can use that orthographic sketch grid and help you. It helps you draw straight lines, all that stuff. And then on the back, do the 3 questions.
So you only need feedback for the first 2 drawings, and that's it?
Yep.
And the rest of the time you're basically on your own.
Correct. Yep. So the rest of class is your work time. Work on these. Grab a partner and say, hey, can I get some feedback quick? Take that feedback into consideration. Redraw them, updated, the same ones. And then after you do that, then you got your kind of expert practice, the more complicated list at the bottom. It's step 9 or whatever. Then you just do those 3 questions and you're done. So that's all we're doing today. Take your time. The point of this sketch is not to just get it on there, but to actually have it be quality. Like shading is a big part. Adding shading is important. Proportions are really important. Do try this. It's not supposed to be like, oh, I draw my iPhone and I draw 2 rectangles and a circle on the bottom. Like, no, look at the edges if they're rounded. When you see the button, include that. All those types of things. Yeah. And so again, virtual students, I'm going to go ahead and pause or stop the recording since, again, the rest of this time is just work time on that. Again, if you need feedback, I would get feedback from a parent or a sibling, someone in your home. They can give you easy feedback on how to make it more realistic, things like that. Otherwise, that's kind of what your paper will look like. Feel free to print that out. I'll make an assignment on Google Classroom, and you'll just submit a scan or a picture of your work, including those 3 questions, and then that'll be what the activity is for today.